Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Joshua, the 10th chapter. As we went through in the 9th chapter, seeing the cunning device that the Gibeonites devised in deceiving Israel into sparing their lives. And therefore they became servants unto us, hewers of wood and drawers of water. Now it came to pass when Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, had heard how Joshua had taken Ai and had utterly destroyed it, as he had done to Jericho and her king, so he did to Ai and her king, and how the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were among them, that they feared greatly, because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all the men thereof were mighty. So imagine how much fear the Lord put on them, because Gibeon was a mighty city, as it says. But even they feared so much that they went and made a league with Israel. And now Adonizedek feared even more, saying, we already had enough on our hands with the Israelites. And then you're going to have this mighty city join them too? Oh, no. Let's look into this name, Adonizedek. All right. Adoniah Tazadak. My Lord is righteous. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, which is really out of one. That makes more sense. Out of one. Of the Lord. Okay. Verse 3. Wherefore Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem. Now remember that these lands were originally in possession of the Canaanites, and the Hamites, let me say, in the region had those lands, right? So Jerusalem and Hebron and all these areas were originally called different names and dwelt in by those that were originally in the land. So Adonizedek, king of Jerusalem, sent unto Hoham, king of Hebron, and unto Piram, king of Jarmuth, and unto Japhia, king of Lachish, and unto Debir, king of Eglon, saying, Come up unto me and help me, that we may smite Gibeon, for it hath made peace with Joshua and with the children of Israel. Therefore the 5 kings of the Amorites, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, the king of Eglon, gathered themselves together, and went up, they and all their hosts, and encamped before Gibeon, and made war against it. And the men of Gibeon sent unto Joshua to the camp to Gilgal, saying, Slack not thine hand from thy servant, so don't waste a second, please. Come up to us quickly and save us and help us, for all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us. Because remember, Hebron and Jerusalem, and they were mountainous regions, right? They were on a geographic wise, they were higher up. So Joshua ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Joshua, Fear them not, for I have delivered them into thine hand. There shall not a man of them stand before thee. So they're cooked. You got them. Okay, not one of them is going to be able to defy you. You got it. Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly, and went up from Gilgal all night. And the Lord Yahweh discomfited them before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon. So he basically put a spirit on them, to where he weakened them. Okay. And they just got slain, as it says, with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth up to Beth Horon, and smote them to Azekah and on to Makkedah. I wonder if they list those places on here. Okay, so they just have the area, Debir, Hebron, Gibeon over here, Jerusalem over here. Okay. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were going down to Beth Horon, that the Lord Yahweh cast down great stones from heaven upon them onto Azekah, and they died. Now, well, it does say it. Okay. they were more which died with hailstones than which does, I mean, hail is stones anyway, but in a different form. But as it says here, which died with hailstones, than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. So the Lord, he got in this. All right. Not only were we chasing them and slaying them with the sword, but the Lord joined in with those hailstones. And those hailstones, if you're not careful, they can kill. Okay, hailstones. Some of them are really, really huge. Yeah, there you go. Like huge. Some of them are small, but some of them are huge, like ice, frozen ice, like snowstones, or ice stones. Look at that. It's the damage it can cause. It's like the angels shooting, bullets from the heavens. And so this can hit you in the head, and then you cooked. Look at that. That's a huge one right there. So that's how the Lord joined in. And then more people died by those hailstones than by the sword that we were slaying them with. Then spake Joshua unto the Lord Yahweh in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. So, and this was like, I guess you could say like a form of spiritual power, because what Joshua was doing was he basically stopped through the spirit and power of the Lord. He stopped the sun and the moon in their tracks, right? So the sun no more moved, it stood still. Okay. And the sun stood still and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. So until we had cooked all of them, not literally cooking, if you understand the slang, but until we had slain them, and it says avenged, Israel had avenged themselves on their enemies, the sun didn't go down. So whatever position it was, if it was noon, it stayed up there. If it was an additional 24 hours or what, it stayed up there for that long. So as it says here, is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that the Lord Yahweh hearkened unto the voice of a man, for the Lord fought for Israel. So there had been no time like that in history, before or after, where the Lord caused something like this to happen at the request of a man. Because Joshua requested this, and the Lord stopped the sun from going down. Imagine that. Here it is. It's 8, it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 11 p.m., 12 a.m. It's still like looking bright as day. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, onto the camp to Gilgal. But these 5 kings fled and hid themselves in a cave at Makkedah. So they came and, they basically came there, to come and attack Gibeon, right? And then they ended up fleeing. They ended up getting beat, and now they fled and went and hid in a cave. And it was told Joshua, saying, the 5 kings are found hid in a cave at Makkedah. And Joshua said, roll great stones upon the mouth of the cave, and set men by it for to keep them. So go ahead, block off the entrance of the cave, so you trap them in there, and then have people stay basically to guard it. And stay ye not, but pursue after your enemies, and smite the hindmost of them. Suffer them not to enter into their cities, for the Lord Yahweh your God hath delivered them into your hand. See, so once Joshua basically had this effect, right, and the sun stopping, he gave him the commandment: go ahead, go and pursue them. Don't let them escape. Chase them down and smite them. All right, as it says, suffer them not to enter into their cities. Okay, don't let them be able to retreat back and regroup or anything like that. The Lord has given them as a prey for us today. We're going to take them out. And it came to pass, when Joshua and the children of Israel had made an end of slaying them with a great slaughter, till they were consumed, that the rest which remained of them entered into fenced cities. So those that were able to escape ran into their defense cities, and basically to hide themselves in there. And all the people returned to the camp to Joshua at Makkedah in peace. None moved his tongue against any of the children of Israel. Everybody, as it says, made it back in peace. And after seeing that, as it says here, after that, no one dared to speak even a word against Israel. Then said Joshua, "Open the mouth of the cave, and bring out those 5 kings unto me out of the cave." And they did so, and brought forth those 5 kings unto him out of the cave: the king of Jerusalem, the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, and the king of Eglon. And it came to pass, when they brought out those kings unto Joshua, that Joshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captains of the men of war which were with him, "Come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings." And they came near, and put their feet upon the necks of them. And Joshua said unto them, "Fear not, nor be dismayed. Be strong and of good courage, for thus shall the Lord Yahweh do to all your enemies against whom ye fight." So just as the Lord brought them down before us, that's what he's going to do before all our enemies. Afterward Joshua smote them, and slew them, and hanged them on 5 trees. And they were hanged upon the trees until the evening. And it came to pass at the time of the going down of the sun, that Joshua commanded, and they took them down off the trees, and cast them into the cave, wherein they had been hid, and laid great stones in the cave's mouth, which remain until this very day. So the same cave they went and hid in, that was their burial ground. And that day Joshua took Makkedah, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and the king thereof he utterly destroyed. Them and all the souls that were therein, he let none remain. He did to the king of Makkedah as he did unto the king of Jericho. Slew. Then Joshua passed from Makkedah, and all Israel with him, unto Libnah, and fought against Libnah. And the Lord delivered it also, and the king thereof, into the hand of Israel, and he smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein, he let none remain in it, but did unto the king thereof as he did unto the king of Jericho. And Joshua passed from Libnah, and all Israel with him, unto Lachish, and encamped against it, and fought against it. Because I think Lachish was also one of their fenced or defense cities. So they surrounded it, fought against it, and took it over. And the Lord delivered Lachish into the hand of Israel, which took it on the 2nd day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein, according to all that he had done to Libnah. So they were just going city to city, just taking it over. Then Horam, king of Gezer, came up to help Lachish as reinforcements, and Joshua smote him and his people until he had left him none remaining. And from Lachish Joshua passed on to Eglon, and all Israel with him, and they encamped against it, and fought against it. So literally campaign after campaign, right? They take this city, go. Now this is taking time, of course, right? It's not like 2 hours here, then 30 minutes later, 2 hours. All right. This is taking time, but this was the conquest, okay, as we were smiting the neighboring cities and taking them over. And they took it on that day, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and all the souls that were therein he utterly destroyed that day, according to all that he had done to Lachish. And Joshua went up from Eglon, and all Israel with him, unto Hebron, and they fought against it. And they took it, and smote it with the edge of the sword, and the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining, according to all that he had done to Eglon, but destroyed it utterly, and all the souls that were therein. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, to Debir, and fought against it. I wonder if they have all these. Yep, they do. Okay, so Debir, Hebron, nice. And he took it, and the king thereof, and all the cities thereof, and they smote them with the edge of the sword. Now, what this looks like is you're invading these cities, right? You're men of war. You're going into these buildings, you're slaying these people that you find. You're literally breaking into houses, kicking down doors, slaying men, women, and children, fighting any of those that try to fight against you in the way, just literally destroying, okay, everything. That was the scene of what's going on here, so you can realize the seriousness and the reality of what's happening here, right? The Bible is not a a children's playbook. Okay, it's about real life, and that was what was going on at this time. And utterly destroyed all the souls that were therein. He left none remaining, as he had done to Hebron. So do you know what that looks like? A massacre, and that's what was happening here. That's what the words say. So imagine that they leave the room and it's just like blood, you know, women, children, grandmas, cooked. And that's what the Lord commanded Israel to do. So he did to Debir and the king thereof, as he had done also to Libnah and to her king. So Joshua smote all the country of the hills, and of the south, and of the vale, which are the valleys, and of the springs, and all their kings. He left none remaining, but utterly destroyed all that breathed, as the Lord God of Israel commanded. And Joshua smote them from Kadesh Barnea even unto Gaza, and all the country of Goshen even unto Gibeon. And all these kings and their land did Joshua take at one time, because the Lord God of Israel fought for Israel. And Joshua returned, and all Israel with him, unto the camp to Gilgal. So this is where Israel was camping at, right? The men, the women, the children that weren't, out there, part of the armies or the warriors that were conquering. And that brings us to the end of Joshua, the 10th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.